It's the Imperfect Artist! And today I'm going to be demonstrating a painting technique that I think I invented. If someone else has already done this, then I didn't invent it. I'm going to be starting with an ice cream container. Unfortunately, it's empty, but I can assure you that the ice cream was delicious. I've got some PVA glue here. I believe it's actually referred to as Elmer's in other parts of the world. And I've got my trusty tub of acrylic paint and a piece of paper which is pink for this demonstration. The lid will be the palette. Now I found 2 to 3 colours work okay. Any more you start getting messy. I've got a fine brush here. It says it's got number 4 on there. I don't know if that's significant, but I like to use a fine pointed brush. You might like to use a bigger brush. I'm just going to put a nut, a little bit bigger than a pea of, this is called mid-green. And what else have we got here? I want something that's going to be a little different. Some scarlet. Alright. And roughly the same amount next to each other. But you don't actually want them to blend or mix. And for the sake of the demonstration, I'll even put some glue. Now the glue actually dries clear. It's not, even though it appears white, it will dry clear. With this technique, I prefer to have some kind of boundary, so I'll just do a squiggle. And I'm going to put that there. And I'm just going to run my brush through in a way to pick up all 3 colours. So you may not see, if I rotate it around, you might see, okay, you've got the red there, some green, and the white PVA peeping out underneath. And I'm just going to dot it. And I'm just rotating the brush as I go. You don't have to do that. Maybe I should have soaked the brush before using it, but I'll work with what I've got. And then I'll just run the brush through again. I've got a nice big glob. Globs are fantastic because you can actually get a glob of paint there. You can use this for filling in areas. You can even like spin it like that and trail it along. You can hold your brush at different angles. You can do it this way. That's starting to blend. I don't like blending. So I'm just going to scoop up. Oh, look at that as a glob. Glob being a technical term. And one more for the sake of a demo. I want to try and get a nice big one with a peak. Now you can mix brands. A lot of people say never mix your brands of paint, but you can with this one. You can use your metallic paints with your mattes, with your glosses, and alright, let's go for a great big scoop. Now this will actually flatten. Oh, Oh, look at the colours coming off there, beautiful. This will flatten out as it dries. I always leave it overnight. As always, here's one I prepared earlier. This one unfortunately got eaten by snails, but I used this technique over this side. I think it was brown, grey and white. I've used it up here. I've also added in some glittered paint. I used it down here. Here's red and yellow. And there's some more down here of this technique. Here's another one I prepared earlier. It's still a work in progress. I spray painted the background, and then I've used copper and brown. So I've got the metallic and a matte paint, and I think that leaves a really nice rustic looking, almost primitive trail. And that's all in this episode of The Imperfect Artist.